Sounds
Welcome
good.
to our podcast, When Life Gives You Lemons. I'm Kevin Henry, and my partner in crime in life is Pommy Henry. I have a rare disease known as spinal cerebellar ataxia, which is a neuromuscular disease. This has left me mobility challenges as well as with a speech impediment and noise-induced anxiety.
Living with these disabilities for over 20 years, we have developed helpful hints and life lessons that we would like to share with you that has made our life easier and possible in some cases. We consider ourselves disability advocates and intend to educate ourselves and you about other disabilities and issues, and also talk about things we find interesting and frequently encounter when we're out and about.
Hi, welcome to our podcast, When Life Gives You Lemons.
It's Kevin and Palmy here. We thought we'd do something a little different today. We're going to put together a Christmas list for your...
Well, it's not really a Christmas gift, it's a gift list.
Gift list, okay.
If somebody you know that's in a wheelchair needs a gift, these are some things that would help them out.
These are things to keep in mind. And even if you just need it, this is something that you can purchase for yourself, and that we have. Some of them, most of them we have, but there are some that are on our wish list too.
And just fair warning, some are real expensive and some are real cheap.
All ranges then.
And just about every link except one, I believe, linked to Amazon. I am a registered Amazon affiliate. What that means is Amazon pays me a commission if you buy something, but it doesn't come out of your end, so your price is the same.
Right. We're just, we'll have the links below for everything we've talked about.
In our show notes, yes.
Okay. So what's the first thing?
The first thing is a large pillow, preferably triangular.
So those are for pressure, to relieve pressure sores and to sit you up in bed if you are bedridden. Or
sometimes you want to sit up to read a book or watch TV.
So it's like a wedge that would sit behind you.
Kind of wedge shape. Triangular is kind of a misnomer. Everybody looks for a triangle pillow, and it's not really that
and
way.
These are
Amazon.
medically based, so these have the right components in it, so it won't give you bed sores.
Correct. And you can, if you want to, click on these links, just look at the pictures of what we're talking about.
Right.
What it does is it puts a cookie in your basket. So you end up buying something. It gives me a commission on it.
Right. Now, we have one of these, but Kevin hasn't used it, but my dad used it when he was bedridden from a stroke. And it was we used them to be able to position him because he was not able to move himself.
And typically, I don't go into the bed until I'm ready to go to bed because...
Unless he's sick or something, yeah.
I'll fall asleep, yeah.
Okay.
So I'm not looking to sit up and read or watch TV. I'm more of, I'm in the bed, I'm going to go to sleep.
Right. And when I looked at price range on these, they ran about $100.
I believe you can buy some of them cheaper, but
yeah, that was the whole pack.
You have to look at not everybody in a wheelchair is the same.
Right.
So your best bet, as long as the individual you're talking about, is to find out what it is they want. If not, talk to their parents and find out what you're looking for.
Right.
Some of them are quite large, some are quite small. Next item is lap tray. And by lap tray, what I mean there is you have a flat tray, preferably with some kind of beanbaggy underside. So it sits on your lap and won't slide off. And you can take snacks from the kitchen, put them on your lap tray, and move to where you're going to consume them without having them fall all over the place.
Well, you can also use that for a computer, like if you have a laptop or if you're reading a book, it helps you hold the book up in place.
Or if you want to write, I'm sure anything that gives you the ability to have a flat surface in your lap.
And those
is
aren't
suitable
specifically for handicapped either. I know a lot of kids use them for homework while they're sitting in their beds and stuff like that. So,
sure.
and that, I think we purchased ours for under $30. So they're pretty, it's not, that would be on the lower list.
Yeah, they do have ones that are specifically made for kids, cartoon themed and stuff like that.
Right.
And they have some that are specifically made for adults, to match your decor and stuff, or a sense of aesthetics. The next item I know for a fact is real cheap. It's waterproof items. If you're at a power chair, what you want to do with for example, a tarp is just cut a small square and make kind of like a sock. It fits over your electronics mounted on it. So if you're kicking up mud or water, it's not going to mess up your electronics. If you have a leak in your turbine, it's not going to mess up your electronics. It's go gravity drip off, if you will, if it's a large amount of water.
Right. So what I have for Kevin is I have a waterproof suit because he's sitting in a wheelchair. The problem is that will keep him dry, but it will not keep his chair dry. So there are also wheelchair covers that will do that type of thing.
They specifically make cushion covers.
That are waterproof?
That are waterproof.
Okay.
But you could say, for example, buy a $5 tarp and make your own, if you're handy with sewing that way.
Yeah. A lot of chairs come with their own covers, too, that you can adapt.
Oh, I was going to say with a tarp, you could do a cushion or do a gizmo for your electronics on a power chair and then just have a sheet of plastic to sit, on, so to speak.
And even in a pinch, we've used large gallon bags, like food bags that we've used to cover the electronics when there's been water available.
Again, it's one of those things that, if you know the wheelchair user, ask about it. Ask if they need that. There might be something that's so cheap and so simple they've already taken care of.
Right.
So unless they're just getting a newer wheelchair or a wheelchair new to them, it's probably something you want to ask about it. Because as with all gifts you give, you want to give them something they don't already have or they feel they need more of. Our next item is what we call in the U.S. a grabber. And I've known some of in other countries they call it a reacher. But nowadays they've actually thought this through a bit more than when we first got ours. Then they had the silicone or rubber, I'm not sure which, and tips on them. So you're not always like smacking metal on metal.
And it also helps you grab whatever you're grabbing.
Right.
We have one, but I think here in the U.S., it is an automatic equipment that you're given when you go through rehabilitation for whatever you're trying to work through. And they come automatically with a pack that helps you. It's a pack that has the grabber in it, has a thing to help you put your shoes and socks on, a shoehorn that is longer, so you can reach it. If the person is able to reach their feet, they are able to use it, and several other items. And there's a sock where you put this contraption over your leg, and it'll pull up your socks for you. And those come here through the rehab center. In most cases, that's where we got ours. My dad got one, and Kevin has one, so we actually have two. I keep one in the kitchen because I'm short. I'm 5'4", and all of my cabinets are really tall, and so it's very helpful to grab things when it's high. And it's also very useful. Kevin is afraid of spiders, so it helps with getting spiders off the ceiling also. So I don't know if it's a particular brand, but that's what we use ours for in most cases. Kevin have you ever used it? It's hard for you to maneuver the...
I've used it to smack spiders.
Oh.
That's it.
Yeah, we have used it for grabbing what it's meant for.
No.
No. Okay. It's good for squishing spiders.
Yeah, mine's an arachnophobia tool, if you will. The fourth item on the list, now these are they're not an order of any sort, so is a headlamp. If you're trying to use both your hands to turn your wheels, it's handy not to have to pick up a conventional torch or flashlight.
Yeah.
It's something that a wheelchair user can use. And he probably is not even going to think about that until it happens.
Until you need it, yeah. We have a story here. Do you want to tell that story?
I don't know what story you want to tell, so you better go ahead.
So, must have been 20 years ago. Kevin had an electric wheelchair, and we were going to our daughter's camping. She camped at a camp for the summer, and they do a big ceremony at the end and stuff, and you have to go to this big campfire to where we all, they put on a little skit and everything for people. Anyways, well, unfortunately, the route that the handicapped person had to take, there was no roads. So he was four-wheeling it through the forest, which is fine in the daylight. But we were leaving after, of course, it was a campfire, so it was dark. And leaving through that route, trying to maneuver that route was not very easy, and especially if you didn't have a flashlight. So we did have a flashlight, but it wasn't on Kevin, it was on the person that was walking ahead of us. And so, Kevin was hitting ruts and getting bucked out of his chair, and it was quite an ordeal.
So we can safely say from experience a headlamp would have come in handy.
Yeah. Now, what's nice about his new wheelchair is it actually has a light on the bottom of it. So it projects light forward and or all around him so he can see his surroundings. So that if you have that option, please take advantage of it, because we've used it in multiple cases.
They sell on Amazon. I'm not sure if we have a category for it or not later on, but they mount on the regular wheelchairs as well.
Oh, really?
And some
it's
of
very
them
useful.
Are even controlled by apps on your phone.
Right.
So I guess if you're talented, you can set up strobes or different colors or whatever.
Right. So, but see, if you were using Kevin was using both hands, one to hang on and one to do the joystick. And so that even your phone flashlight would not have helped, because, unless he strapped it to his head or something, or to his chair. But
they make phone holders too for wheelchairs.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't have that, though. You got a charger, though.
I'll get to that. That's the last item on the list. And there's a reason for that, but we'll get to it later. Gloves. Especially if you're in the manual wheelchair, You either want something to pad your hands or something to maintain your grip on the bar that you're pushing on. Because when they get damp or splattered with water or mud, they're slick.
Right. Makes sense.
And if if your seasonal cold weather is around, you want your hands to stay warm. People that sit in wheelchairs all day typically have circulatory problems in their limbs. So their feet, their hands especially, get really cold.
Right. Makes sense.
A muscle stimulator. They actually make models that are for people in wheelchairs that have, say, a spinal cord injury. You cannot use the muscles in their legs at all.
Yeah, you use mine. I have one for rheumatoid arthritis and fibromyalgia, and you use it a lot.
That special one will go up
Higher, probably, yeah.
probably higher.
Yeah.
So it stimulates large muscle groups.
Right, yeah. You've started using it. Have you noticed a difference?
Not yet, but I'm old. It's going to take a while. So
Right.
I can't tell you in a day or two. I have to put some time into it. Okay, a wheelchair bag. Now, this is a very generic thing because, once again, everybody's different.
Every wheelchair is different, too.
Some people really don't care what their bag looks like, and some people really do. So
Yeah, you have one, and it came with the wheelchair. This is where we keep all the rain gear, Kevin's eating devices. He uses a larger spoon and a bowl versus a plate to be able to scoop up the food. So that this is typically where I store all this stuff. Also, I have a anti-choking device in case he does have swallowing issues. So if in case he starts choking on something, I have something that will help me be rid of the item versus allow it to continue choking him. I also have, like I said, the ring gear that I store in there. I have straws. So it is pretty vital when we go somewhere that we have these items that we need to carry with us.
later on the list, we'll come across some of those items that are typically in somebody's bag.
Now, recently, Kevin's gotten a small attachment that goes onto his handrail armrest that is just, it holds like his driver's license, and I'm not sure you call that a backpack, but it is an attachment that goes on, you can add to your wheelchair. And also his cell phone, which
There's
is
only
crucial.
one category that we have later on that is specifically named, and that's because depending where in the world you are, you call it different things. But as a general rule, people in wheelchairs need bags.
To be able to hold stuff.
They need storage, the ability to gather up small things and take them with them when they're out and about. Beverage holder. Again, this is one thing that kind of surprised me. This wheelchair that I'm in now is a power chair. It came with a beverage holder.
Right.
Manual wheelchairs, they also market a device, again, very inexpensive.
Actually, they run about, I bought them at Walgreens, and it was an attachment you add to the chair. Kevin had that for his previous wheelchairs.
I think you can also
Under $20.
use the same thing on a rollator or a walker.
Exactly. I think it was made for all those things, so it's pretty universal. But we do like the when we're going about and stuff, we really like the fact that we can use that.
A lot of these items, if you're not happy with what you're seeing, look under bicycling equivalent for that sort of item, because
They seem to work the same way, yeah.
they seem to either mount the same way or perform the same function. So you're not always looking for a wheelchair specific item.
Because there again, we've talked about this. Whenever there is
Except the wheelchair bag, because there are several types of bags. Some you need to know what the measurements of your wheelchair are.
and how to attach
Some
it.
you don't. Some you buy from a medical supply place or manufacturer. A lot of the items here, basically, if whoever manufactures your wheelchair has patented the item, it's still under patent, so you have to go and buy it either through a medical school supply place or through that manufacturer. And we only have one of those, so.
And there's always a handicap, a disability upcharge.
Yeah, they always charge a pretty penny for it, but I'm not sure it's always that way. It's that way in America because basically, if it's specifically made for wheelchair or medical use, if you will, they want to build your insurance whenever they can. And they basically set the price by however much the insurance company will pay for that. So explains why there's a disability upcharge sometimes. I'm not sure in other countries that's the same. A water bottle. This specifically, I know you can get through cycling areas or sporty goods stores
Or anybody, anywhere.
Walmart. But what you're looking for is a water bottle. It may have a spout, it may have a straw built in, but whatever, it has a cover over what it is you're drinking out of. So if you are going through mud, it's not going to come up all grody and nasty and covered in whatever you've been driving through before you suck on it. So there's a cap you're removing while you have a clean spout or a clean straw.
It also helps because a lot of times there's a lot of spillage because of lack of being able to grab with your hands and stuff. So Kevin's one is a Yeti. We found that we really like the Yeti. Keeps it nice and cold for him. And this one we have is the handle where he can grab a hold. It has a nice handle that his hand can get around. And the straw is built within. And it protrudes only when he wants to open it.
But then again, I don't often go off-roading, so...
No, this is just for normal life.
See, the next is the one item that depends on where in the world, what you call it, and that is a fanny pack. Because we in America call it a fanny pack. Some other places we call it a bum bag because fanny is considered to be a rude word elsewhere in the world, in the whatever language or they happen to speak or it's rude.
Right.
So basically it secures around your waist, and if you have it in front, you can, like if you're going on a plane, say, keep your valuables right there where you know nobody's going to steal them.
Right. There's some basically designed for passports to be able to access your passport easily. It also work a cross bag, like for a woman, would work for this type of thing too.
It would also, if you just buckle the waist buckle and leave a lot of room, it'll dangle on your wheelchair if you're in a manual. But then again, if you're picky about what your wheelchair looks like, it may matter what your fanny pack looks like. So
yeah,
you might want to ask either the user or the user's parents.
Or guardian or caretaker.
Yeah. Wheelchair repair kit, mostly for us, that consists of like a Leatherman tool-sized object where you can grab things, cut things, perhaps have a Phillips head or a standard head. Some are real fancy and have like commonly used sockets in them.
That's something, like I said before, that I always keep in my backpack. So
Again, that's going to be one of the items that needs to go in a bag somewhere. So need to ask the user. They may have already assembled something that will do the job, or they may have specific items in mind they need it for.
And it's specific to the wheelchair too. So like previous wheelchairs, Kevin's been able to use a regular screwdriver and stuff, but this recent wheelchair is all the screws, connections, whatever what are those?
Allen wrenches.
It's all a specific Allen wrench. So, and variety of Allen wrenches. So that's basically what I keep in the bag.
And usually, if you just, here in the States anyway, just go to your typical hardware store. They have Allen wrenches that are all connected to each other.
Right.
Kind of like a folding tool, if you will.
Yeah, and I also keep a, what are they called? Tool all, where it has all that stuff in there, like a small pair of scissors and stuff like that. Just so we're good no matter where we go.
In theory. I suppose somewhere along the line we'll find out we have to have something we don't have, but we got everything we need for right now anyway.
Yeah, on previous trips we've taken to, I believe this trip we were in Kansas City, and we had, at that time, Kevin had a wheelchair that attached to the back of our vehicle. And lo and behold, of course, we've been on this trip for a little while, and we noticed that the ramp is loose. And so we end up having to find a hardware store and buying a variety of wrenches and screwdrivers and stuff like that to be able to fix it. So that was not thought out before, but that is something maybe you should put in your backpack. Not just the chair, but for whatever you're attaching your chair to.
Okay, next we have smooth bottom pants. And what I'm talking about are pants that don't have especially buttons or snaps on the pocket.
Yeah.
Because when someone sits on their butt all day,
pressure points.
Those cause pressure points that can later cause pressure sores. So
yeah,
that is a constant battle that wheelchair users are fighting. So they're not trying to make sores on their butt.
In keeping with the same idea, not only that they're smooth, but also that they're the attachments. How are they pulled up? Like Kevin typically wears sweats, which has filled the need. But my dad had other needs, and so there was specific pants that you could buy that were snapped on both sides, so you can just lay down, snap up the snaps on the side, and not have to pull them up, and stand to get them up above your bum. So, and there also Kevin has several. I've adapted several of his dress pants to have Velcro closures instead of buttons or snaps, because those are not feasible.
Yeah, buttons are hard for me, but most people with other disabilities have no problems using their hands. And some people, of course, do. Okay, the next item are what are called boot slippers. What am I wearing here, Palmy?
I think they're they're slippers that have Velcro on both sides.
No.
Oh, you mean hard-soled?
Yeah.
Hard-soled slippers.
Hard soles make it easier to walk on these hard surfaces. If you just walk around the socks,
they're slippery.
And have hard floors, they're slippery.
Right.
So it's a lot easier to
slip and fall when you're transferring. Kevin also, these ones I have Velcro, so because he had problems with them, the other type falling off his feet because he doesn't move around.
What I'm trying to get at is these are what we will call slippers. Boot slippers go at least another couple inches, cover your ankle, so your ankles don't run into your wheelchair or each other.
So you said boot slippers? Is that what you said?
Boot slippers, yeah. For lack of a better descriptive name. Power assist. As you get older, both Palmy and I have found out your typical manual wheelchair is not going to suit you in all circumstances. There was one time in Kansas City, the hill was so steep that I do a quarter turn to go up and roll back farther than what it was I went up. So
Yeah, we've never found that manual chairs have worked for Kevin.
And they didn't have power assist on wheelchairs. That wasn't an option when I first started this journey. And again, the word power assist, I think, is more thought of differently in other countries than in English. What I'm talking about is they make either wheels or whatever that allow you to store energy that help you get up a hill later on.
So motor type.
It's kind of a motor. Specifically, I think if you use the word in power assist in the UK, I think it may be a brand name. It's the attachment that turns your manual wheelchair into a power trike, if you will, for off-roading.
Right.
So, again, look at what it is you're buying. Don't just buy a list like I'm reading. Look at a picture and make sure that's what you're talking about. Because if you're out of town or in a different part of the world, they may call what you're looking for something else. So before you run into that awkward moment where the guy digs in the back room for half an hour, gives you something you're not expected, don't, just
know what you're buying.
Yeah, whatever you can, go online, at least look at pictures and find out if those pictures correspond with what you're looking for. Spare wheels or custom wheels. Again, some people really care what the wheelchair looks like. So they want either wheels that are look a certain way, they want just regular spoke wheels that they can make look a certain way.
So that's decorative, not something.
Again, that's you can also look at bicycle accessories, where you can get what's called a spoke tube, which is just basically a plastic tube that covers spokes on your bikes, and you may have to look under that name because they may not call it specifically for wheelchairs. Smartphone devices. Again, smart home devices. Again, the biggest seller here is probably Alexa, because Alexa via Amazon, because Amazon sold like thermostats, doorbells, etc., they just made all that stuff compatible with Alexa, which they also sold. And Google has had to try to catch up because they came out with Google Ring after Amazon had a couple-year head start. So if you're looking for devices specifically to open your doors or thermostats, find out what the owner already has in the way of smart devices.
Yeah, we have Alexa, but I do have to tell you that the smart plugs that I buy are not Alexa, but they do work. They're not Google, Amazon, but they do work with it. So some off-brands sometimes are affiliated that way too. But I believe they would also work with Google Assist. So we have two because Kevin cannot reach our lamps. That is how we light our living room. Also, it's nice for in the bedroom when you're laying in the bed and you don't have to get up and turn off the lights. You can get situated and then say, turn off the lights. And that's really nice. And we also have the Ring that will show Kevin who is at the door in case I'm not home. It's a safeguard for him to not let someone in that, should not be able to come into our house. So,
And plus, if you do have an order from Amazon, you can ask Alexa where your stuff is.
right, that's nice
They'll
too.
tell you what day it's going to be delivered on, and they update all that stuff.
Right.
The next item is not what we call it in the U.S. What we call it in the U.S. is basically remote control of voice access. And that equates to a smart TV in some parts of the world. Being a smart TV is something else in the U.S. But they're looking for a remote or a way to control what's on the TV via voice. Sometimes Alexa can do that.
If you buy the right
If
smart
you
TV.
have the right stuff, and usually it says it is. Or I think probably some of them have thrown their hat in with Google now and want to say they work with the Google Home.
Assist, I think it's called. Or it might be home.
Might be whatever it is.
We have the Roku TVs, and what was nice is you can get a Roku stick that converts any of your smart TVs to the Roku so that you can control them via the voice control.
I think the Chrome and Amazon equivalents to those may also work that way nowadays.
Yeah, the Fire Stick is, I think, theirs.
Yeah, last time we looked at those, they didn't, but that was several years ago. So
Right.
the next item Pommy just mentioned, and that's a smart doorbell. It actually allows you to interact with who's ringing, because everybody in a wheelchair can relate to the story of the guy that just up and leaves because he had no feedback when he rang the doorbell.
Right.
We can press a button and say, I'll be there in just a minute. It takes me a while to get to the door. And that way you'll get more of a audience when you get to the front door.
Gives you more freedom in your home and house, too.
It doesn't just let you talk to your dogs who happen to be out in the front yard.
There's also a link on the Ring where you can automatically call the fire, police, and I think that's the fire and the police. So it's a button and that you can automatically set it off. So if you need help, you can get help immediately too.
Okay, this item may be the priciest item on there because they're new to the U.S., so I don't know if that's always the case or not. That is a recumbent trike or hand bike.
Right. Now, Kevin did that. He's not able to do it now, but about 2 years ago, we were able to bicycle. We both got bikes, and we enjoyed it quite a bit. It's just more difficult for him to get into that position now.
They do make upright bikes and trikes, but typically, if you're lacking in either leg strength or leg ability, recumbent is a recommended
Position to be in.
position for you because you can get more power, more bang for your buck that way.
And you're, if you have back issues or anything else, it's more comfortable.
Or circulatory issues, whatever.
Right.
The other
Those ran us about $1,000 a piece. Yeah.
they're a lot cheaper now, but
We bought used. Yeah.
yeah. It's been several years since I've priced them before making a link for this. They are about half of the price we're looking at then. The next item is what I call push rims, which is also what you call just normal push rims on the tire. There's that part of the tire that meets the floor or the sidewalk. And there's that part of the tire that if you're in a manual chair, you're pushing on. Okay, that area right there, that usually metallic ring can be customized with plastic push rims of your choosing that either
Help with grip.
represent a favorite cartoon character or a favorite color. And it helps pimp your wheelchair, if you will. As they used to say in the United States, they had pimp my ride, then pimp my house or pimp my crib. That's what it was, pimp my crib. Anyway, I think that's a term that's gone away. Spoke skins. They actually make cloth coverings. We're talking about spoke, the plastic attachments that clip onto your spokes. These are actual skins, fabric, or even they look like plastic, but they might be. I imagine there's something like a fiberglass, or heck, there's probably even carbon fiber, and those are the solid-looking attachments that go over the spokes on your wheelchair. Again, it's a matter of either need or, as far as which wheel skin you buy, is individual taste. So consult with the user there or the parent. Last item is the only one that you cannot find on Amazon. I think that's because the maker of this wheelchair is still covered by a patent. That's it's obviously metallic to conduct electricity. On the outside, the part that you grab is plastic. I keep it on a cord on my wheelchair, and it just plugs into where you charge your wheelchair.
So it's a car. You haven't said what it is yet. It's a car. It's a phone charger.
You can
adapter.
power your phone off the
wheelchair, electric
if you
wheelchair.
happen to set off an adventure without either your phone charger or a low battery.
We found it very helpful several times. So
it
does not drain your battery, which is nice.
It's one of those things I debate if it's worth what they want for it, but
we got ours free. It was well worth it.
It wasn't free.
Came with the wheelchair.
Came with the wheelchair. I'm sure they charged our leg to the agency that paid for it. So
yeah.
Anyway, that's our list.
Yeah.
Tell me, are there any housekeeping items we need to take care of?
I don't think so. We're going to be making a trip to Tennessee to visit Kevin's parents. So we will be back after that with a new adventure. Probably do some podcasts regarding an Airbnb that we're going to stay at, right? So we'll see you then. We'll talk later.
See you next time.
We are always looking to improve the podcast, so if you want to hear a specific topic, have a differing opinion, want to add something to the conversation, drop us an email. Our contact information is listed on our website. It's www.whenlifegivesyoulemons.net. We have recently added a companion YouTube channel called Making the Lemonade. If you enjoy the podcast, continue your enjoyment by joining us on YouTube.